Today is October 22nd, 2024. We are at the Community Media Center in Westminster, Maryland. My name is Steve Bowersox, and joining me today is Jason Sidock. Thank you for being with us today and sharing your story of service.
Glad to be here. This is a wonderful thing that you guys do.
All right. So let's go back to the beginnings, right? So tell me about your childhood, or not every detail, but your childhood and what eventually made you want to enlist or join the military.
I grew up in small town Texas. My father was in the military. He had volunteered for Vietnam, and then he stayed in, and when we left Texas, I started my time as a military brat, whether it be Fort Lee, Virginia, Fort Lewis, Washington, and then ultimately over in Germany. But with all I knew was the military. As they say, we grew up behind the wall, military brats, and I knew going in was something I had to do, wanted to do.
You said your father, how long was your father in the military?
My father volunteered for Vietnam at 18, and he served in uniform for 42 years. We'll actually be burying him in Arlington next month.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'm sorry for your loss, but that's quite an honor.
Yes.
That is nice. While you were in the Army, what was your MOS or?
I was a military police officer, 95 Bravo. I originally was going to go in, I wanted to do intelligence, and I had the ASVAB scores to do it. I get ready to go, and then they're telling me it's going to be a year of this and then a year of language school and that, and I'm like, yeah, we'll just try something different. So I went ahead and decided to become MP.
Okay. Any interesting stories from the MP life that you could share with?
I was sharing one earlier with Sherry, and I think the most interesting is, here just recently I was out speaking at a private school to 6th, 7th, 8th graders, and they'd asked me what had the most impact on my life from my military time. And I thought about it because there's a lot of things that have impacts. But the one story that sticks with me is when we were in Bosnia. I was deployed to Bosnia, and there was this basket maker. His wife was Australian, so we always had the ability to speak to him. They'd come on post and do baskets. I bought multiple baskets, sent them home to my wife. And then there was one he was going to make specially for me. And it was a pillar basket, started off round, went up 3 levels. And they apologized one Saturday because he had arthritis and he hadn't had a chance to get it done. I'm like, take your time, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here a while. Mm-hmm. And it's $25 for that basket, that's all. And the baskets that we do have, they are some of the best made baskets ever. Well, his wife starts telling me that a little bottle of aspirin cost them $100 US back then. This was in '96. And so they would have to go up from Bosnia, cross over the Sava River and go up to the black market. It cost him $100. That's the only way he continued making baskets. So I went over and told the LT, I said, I need some aspirin. He goes, here you go. I said, no, I need that bottle. It was about a 2,500 count aspirin. Mm-hmm. And he said, here you go. And so he took it, and I put it in a bag, and I took it to his wife, and I said, give this to your husband. Tell him in confidence of the United States Army. Well, he never would let me pay for that basket. And so I'd send buddies over there, and he wouldn't sell it. He refused. I left the country without the basket because I just didn't feel it was appropriate to give, pay him with military. And so that was where I think a lesson I learned was about integrity. And it's just like you've got to draw a line somewhere.
All right, that's very interesting. How long were you in Bosnia?
I was in Bosnia in '96 and '97. 96 and
'97. Yeah. All right, so what was your, how long were you in the military total?
About, I guess, 8 years.
Okay, and you had gone to college prior to going in, is that what you said?
I was going to go right out of high school, and my father was just coming back from Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and he said, you don't need to go in the military. He said, go to college. So I went to Germany, went to college over there, and I went down and actually joined at Kaiserslautern.
Oh, interesting.
K-Town.
All right, very good. So obviously what you're doing now, you're still very much concerned about the military, people in the military. So obviously no regrets about going in, no?
Not at all. I'd do it again. After getting out, I went to work for the Boeing company. I ran classified programs, and then I was at Northrop Grumman, and then I ended up my career with the government down in DARPA, which was really fascinating to see the technology and the advancements.
What is that, DARPA? What is that?
DARPA, it's Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. It's where the government, it was formed after Sputnik went up, and it surprised us, because the motto is never again be surprised, because we can't allow any country to have a technological advance. So that was interesting for me, and it was just, I ended up here, Carroll County, in 2009, and then here back in 2020, I get involved in this nonprofit on the board, and they're getting ready to hire an executive director, and I was approached. And I said, I don't know anything about running a nonprofit. And here we sit, going on, what, 4 years? And it's just, we've been able to get the right staff. We're processing upwards of 130 claims a month. And it's just, we're taking care of veterans in Carroll County and beyond. We've got them calling, we've had veterans call us from Texas. We've had them call us from PA. So we'll help them anywhere.
That's great. So when you're in the military, you went to Bosnia, and you said you transitioned out after that. After you were there, did you have a job lined up with Boeing at that point in time, or did you just? I
did not. I'd gotten hurt in Bosnia. Part of what I suffer from today. It's later years. It was diagnosed as a TBI, but back then it was just headaches, and that's what I had to deal with. I got out and just okay. Well, what am I going to do? And next thing you know, I'm down at Boeing working, getting in their security programs, and then just moved up from there. Okay,
so you went to Boeing out west.
Out west, right? In Seattle.
And that's what brought you back this way. And is it the injury you suffered that kind of got you really involved with this nonprofit?
It did. I had to battle and fight VA for some of what I had, because when you're right, your medical records say it is. It's when you got someone evaluates, it says denied, it's not service connected. It's a little frustrating. So I understand what veterans feel like. Just with my father in the later years when he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and it became very aggressive, I had to get involved and help with him to make sure that we got the right care for him. And it's okay to do a congressional and have your senator or congressman step in and ask VA what's going on. And people think, oh, that's a bad thing. It's not. It allows them to you got 48 hours to respond to them. They'll take a little longer to respond to you or I.
All right. Let's see. Any, I'm trying to find some anecdotal things here. Any anecdotal things from that was a really great story with the basket. Any other great memories you have from your time in the military? Friendships you made that you still have?
Obviously, yes. You make friendships just from basic that you carry on with you throughout life. My battle buddy, they assign you your battle buddy when you get there, and he was not so keen on keeping his locker straight and so on and so forth. And we always had pictures, and we could put personal pictures up in our locker. And I had one, and that was my wife. I had three: my wife, my dog, and mom and dad in his blues from a Christmas concert or Christmas ball. And we had a surprise inspection. And so my stuff, I was one of those guys. I kept stuff squared away. Him not so much. But they come over, and the colonel's looking, and he says, "Who's this in this picture?" And I knew who he was asking, because you can tell when you see my father in uniform, he's got quite a bit of. And I just said, "Oh, that's my wife." And he says, "Well, who else is it?" I said, "It's my dog, sir." He wasn't enjoying that. So he called me over, and he pointed and said, "Who is that?" I said, "That'd be my father." Well, if Dad was coming to graduation, he would be treated as a dignitary because of his rank and time. And so I said, yes, he will be here. He didn't get to because he was in Bosnia. He was down there ahead of me. Oh. Yeah, we shook hands on the way. But, it was one of those things, and they get over to my battle buddies, and so I ended up doing push-ups over that. I don't know if it was because of the picture, because his locker was messed up, but so be it. It's your battle buddy. Right. So we had some time spent rolling shirts and socks and so forth.
All those things.
Always good times.
Did you feel, because of your father's service, that's why you wanted to keep your locker straight? Did you feel that you would be letting him down or other family members if you weren't like totally squared away?
Well, I'll say it's because of my father that it was always, whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability. Doesn't matter what the outcome is if you did your best. And so I lived the military. I knew, and so right off the bat, I was made the platoon guide right in basic, the first week. and it's because I understood the military. I'd lived it, and so it's really just okay. I can't can't have him show up at graduation or us talk and him saying, well, what why did you get this or why that?
Right.
Yes.
All right. Very interesting. So what you're working on now?
Yes.
How can people contact you? Or it's a lot of word of mouth getting people involved in this.
It is.
And you are trying to advocate for their benefits, mental health, physical, all the things?
So the two founders, a lot of folks might have heard of Mad Dog Sater. They named the train station after him. And then so Mike Sater called him Mad Dog, and Frank Valenti. They were and Ed Kramer later came on to be part of the founders. They had three goals: help with veteran homelessness, because yes, we do have homeless veterans in Carroll County. I could take you right now to the tent where they prefer to live there than live in the county shelter. And we're trying to take care of that problem through many other sources. They wanted to do something about transportation and then help process benefits, because there is a need to help veterans. If we're processing 130, 120 something claims a month, there is a need to have more of us helping veterans. So that was when I was brought on as executive director January of 21, that was my mission, those three things. Well, the first guy walks through the door. We hadn't even held our grand opening. That was in June of 21. This is end of COVID. He needed assistance with legal because his wife's ex-husband, something down the line, stole his service dog. Yeah, let that sink in. You got to be a real good person to do that. So it's like, okay, let's help him. Well, that's not in our pillars. So I, as executive director, decided that, so to answer your question about what do we do, the need drives the mission. So that's not just a motto, that's just words on a paper. That is whatever comes in that door, we're figuring out a way through partners. We don't do it all. We don't have the money to do it all. But through all the various partners and vast partners around the community, it's find a way to help that veteran or their family member fix that problem.
All right, that's great. So you're not turning people away at the door.
No. Right. And if it's a non-veteran, my policy is it's a no wrong door. So we participate with groups within the county that are not just all veteran. So if you come in and you're not a veteran, let's say, we're a warming center. We're also a cooling station. So that's for anyone, just like that are open up the libraries. Okay. So we will take anybody in. We're just not going to start long-term case management on you. We'll get you started. If we need to get you a warm meal, we need to get you clothes. Go into the locker room, get whatever you need, and then we're going to get you sent over to someone that will take care of you. So we can't say, oh, no, you're not a veteran, we can't help you. They're still people. You still got to help them out.
I understand. That's very good. So looking back, would you have a young person coming to you, not sure what they want to do with their life? Would you recommend them going into one of the branches of the service?
I would, and I smile at that because I've had multiple folks that I will see, whether it be in the stores or something. They'll come up and they'll ask me about the military, and one female who was a barista at Starbucks, and so what I did was I said, let me get you a phone number. So I wanted her to talk to a female tech sergeant from the Air Force, and I said, I want you to talk to a female that's in the military so that you understand from a female's perspective, because my perspective may be different. And she went into the military, and she was grateful to be able to. So it's really just trying to help them. We were very honored out of Gersdale. We had a student from Gersdale who did some time with us and an internship, and she had already been accepted to West Point. Oh, wow. So she came on board, but she didn't know anything about, when she was shopping nonprofits to do her time with, because Gersdale has a big commitment to working with nonprofits. I asked her about her military bearing. So you being military, you understand that term. She was like, what's that mean? I asked her about military time. She had no idea. And I said, you're reporting to the point this summer? And this was just here this past spring. She goes, yes. And so she chose us. So we spent time while she was there giving to us, giving back to her, and I arranged for her to talk to multiple veterans, female and male, just about officers, so that she could see and enlisted, what the military was really. She didn't have anyone in her family who was military. How she ended up was because she played lacrosse, and she wanted to go to West Point. So it's interesting. We've tried to give back because you don't want anyone to ever just show up and not have a clue about what it's going to be like. Right. Military's different.
Okay, so to kind of wrap this up, anything you want to add that you think people need to take away from from all this?
If you're considering the military, no matter what branch, yes, I was Army, but it doesn't matter what you're considering. I don't think there's a more worthwhile thing that you will be able to look back on and feel like I made a difference. I look at the fact that we went to Bosnia and I didn't just get to buy baskets. We oversaw the first ever Democratic elections in the Balkan region.
Nice.
And so that is something I get to look back on and go, you know, here, timely, election season's coming up. And it's kind of like, folks, if it's raining or snowing or if it's too hot out, we might not go vote. These folks came out to vote while being shot at. And our team was providing security for them and multiple others. And it's just, think about that and just know that every veteran you talk to is going to have a story that they can tell about a difference they made. It's very worthwhile, my time with the nonprofit Carroll County Veterans Independence Project. Any veteran looking for assistance, look us up online, look us up on Facebook, come find us. We're happy to help them.
All right. Well, thank you again, Mr. Sidock, for sharing your memories with us today.
Thanks for having me. Once again, this is a wonderful thing that the Media Center is doing.